All right. Rise and shine. It's time for
D is for drama.
That's drama with a D.
D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know that noise. That's one Horace Gold.
I'm coming off of a cold, so if my voice sounds deep and sultry today,
Oh,
it's
you
because
guys are in for a treat.
it's because I've been hitting these goddamn Metamoon geek bars, which are outlawed in the United States.
What are they?
My vape is illegal.
Oh, from Italy?
No, my
Oh.
American vape is illegal.
Where'd you get it?
Some store that is selling contraband. Also, speaking of
Oh.
American vapes, I was buying vapes because I found a new one over there
In Italy?
in Italy.
Because he just got back, if you can tell from his T-shirt.
And my tan. Someone told me that I look sun-kissed, and I said thank you. I was buying new vapes, and I went back and bought like 4 more because they were $10. And I went to the woman, and I was like, oh my God, like Trump has added these tariffs onto vapes. Like one of these is $40, and I bought 4 of them for $40.
Uh-huh.
And she looks at me and she goes, I want you to kill him.
An icon. We love her.
I was like, trust me, Diva, we're all praying for it. She goes, we're with you. And I was like,
we're with you.
I was like, thank you. That means so much to me. Thank you, sister.
I love that. I remember this when I was in Italy, or no, I was in France. I was in Paris, and my taxi to my hotel was talking about it. And he was like, I like Trump. He's funny, no? I'm like, not if you gotta
No.
live over there.
No.
Like maybe if you're an outside spectator, but also I think he affects everyone.
Guy. Good luck.
Well, speaking of contraband and illegal activity,
Hey.
today we are talking about true crime.
Ooh.
So I am a true crime girly, have been for a very long time. And actually, I do believe that both of our dreams is to be witnesses at a trial.
Our friend Parallel Parking Maddie was on for like some really intense like battery, and I was like,
Jury
tell
duty.
me jury duty. And I was like, tell me everything. And she was like, well, and I was like, well, that's a reasonable doubt. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, and there's plausible deniability.
She's so like playing Switzerland that she's just like, whatever you guys want to do. I'll vote whichever way you want to vote.
She had her thoughts, I thought.
She did?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
good.
she just was like tired of
Let's
it
get
because they
this over
don't
with.
pay you to do jury duty. They pay you like,
$15 a day, honey.
it's fucking crazy.
Well, I was going to be selected for a double homicide, and I didn't get selected, and I was honestly not that happy about it.
I'll take it alone.
I was like, I'm actually not making any money right now, so $15 a day sounds pretty good.
And I get all the tea. I will do it.
I'm like, great.
Whatever you need.
Give me some content for the pod,
Please.
baby.
Ugh.
So I'm gonna take Horace through the Idaho College Murders.
So fucked up.
And I'm going to take you guys through it too.
Let's do it.
So what do you know about this?
I actually know a pretty penny
Okay,
about
good.
this.
So
because I was on TikTok at the time. I'm on TikTok all the time, actually.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I'm constantly on TikTok. And so I was a part of the world that was as this was happening in real time, I was watching a lot of videos about the speculations.
Yes.
And it's just, I know a little bit, but not all of it. And it's just generally so sad. And this man is a fucking loser.
Psychopath, loser, baby, bitch boy.
Cock, cunt, cuck.
Yeah. So there's some juicy drama in here, though, you guys. This will be a little bit more of a different format. I'm just going to take you guys through this story.
I'm excited.
So if there's any true crime lovers out there, you're going to love it.
D is for murder.
That's murder with a
D.
Muck duck.
Let me just also say, as someone who is like adjacent to true crime, I know about it, but I don't consume it a lot. I always want to, if I was ever to do a true crime, I would want it to be known that it's like not about exploiting the victims of this, because I'm so sorry that this fucking happened to the families. I think as human beings, we're like naturally curious, which is why people are fascinated with true crime. But I do also think that it can veer into a territory where people start to like dehumanize people who have been victims of these murders. And like there's podcasts that are so exploitative and like unfair. And that's obviously not what she's doing and what we're doing here today. But I just want it to be known for the record that like there's ethical telling of horrific crimes that is not like for anyone's personal gain, but just rather telling a story that happens to be a sad one.
Yes. Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. And I second that sentiment. Shall we get into it?
Let's dive in.
This happened on the early hours of November 13th, 2022.
It's
Fall
already been
semester.
3 years?
Yep. Can you believe it? In the quiet college town of Moscow, Idaho, which is spelled Moscow, but it's Moscow, which is right next to the border of Washington State. Moscow was supposedly a very safe place. One of those places that you don't lock your doors. I'm sorry. Can we get rid of that?
Lock your fucking door.
These stories start in little small towns where they don't lock the doors. People, let's just lock our doors.
Why do you think there's a lock? It's to be turned.
To be turned.
25 seconds.
Even when I'm just home, I always have my door locked. Like I will never. I mean, you just can't relate in LA.
I live in a building where you can like unlock the door. There's like 2 locks where like one is just the handle and the other's like the hard lock. And I always have my like door handle locked.
Yeah.
And there's people in my building who would like just leave it open, like an open door policy. And I'm like, I live in downtown Los Angeles.
No. I mean, growing up in a small town in New Jersey, I don't think we did, but I'm like at night we always did. Yeah. But during the day we wouldn't, because my next door neighbors, we were best friends with them. We would just all be like running in and out of each other's houses and stuff. But like at night for sure. Come on, folks.
Come on.
So most students were asleep and the streets were nearly empty. In a rental home just off campus, 6 friends at University of Idaho were scattered between bedrooms after a night out. Kaylee Goncalves, is that how you say it?
I think so.
Goncalves, and Madison Mogan, best friends since childhood, had returned from a local bar at 1:45 a.m. Xana Kernodle, 20, and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin, 20, both Kaylee and Madison are 21, had been at a fraternity party earlier in the evening. Then the 2 other roommates, Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen, were in the house as well. So sometime between 4 a.m. and 4:25, an intruder slipped inside. He carried a large fixed blade knife. During this time, Dylan, who was on the same floor as Xana and Ethan, heard movement and some voices. Now, Dylan and Bethany exchanged frantic text messages and phone calls with the victims during the early hours. And we actually have the text messages.
Is Dylan a girl?
Yes, Dylan is a girl. Kaylee and Madison were on the second floor. Xana and Dylan lived on the first floor. And then Bethany was in the basement. And so Dylan was overhearing this because she was closer.
So first floor is texting.
No.
Basement's texting.
Basement and first floor. Dylan and Bethany are texting.
Copy.
And Xana, Ethan, her boyfriend, is sleeping at her place. Dylan texted Bethany saying, "No one is answering. I'm really confused right now." And then Bethany said, "Yeah, dude, what the fuck?" Xana was wearing all black. Dylan said, "I'm freaking out right now." "No, it's like a ski mask almost." And then Bethany said, "Shut the fuck up." "Actually?" Then Dylan said, like he had something over his head
my heart is
and
fluttering.
little
in mouth.
Oh, and little in mouth, ND mouth. I mean, it was a typo. There's a lot of typos because obviously she's scared to fucking death.
And half asleep.
At 4 a.m. I'm not kidding. I am so freaked out. Then Bethany said, "So am I." Dylan said, "My phone is going to die. Fuck." And Bethany said, "Come to my room. Run down here." So she runs down to Dylan's room and the 2 of them lock the door and they stay down there for the rest of the night. And that's at 4:22. And then Dylan, at one point, right after she was texting Bethany, they were trying to call the other victims, and she texted Kaylee, "What's going on?" No answer. So Xana was presumed to be awake during this time because she picked up a DoorDash order at 4 a.m. and then was on TikTok at 4:12. Dylan later told police that she heard strange noises and saw a man in dark clothing and a mask walk towards the back door before disappearing into the night. So I'm not really positive if that was like before he had committed all the crimes or after.
Oh my God.
But she also reported that she heard somebody say, "Somebody's here." And then she heard Xana's dog barking too.
Oh my God.
So,
and who were all the victims? Because not everybody died.
Yeah. So the 2 that I'm talking about, Dylan and Bethany, that ran down to the basement, they didn't die.
Okay.
And everyone else did.
So Xana died.
Xana, yeah. So they kind of think she was the one that was awake for it and everyone else was asleep. The next day, Dylan and Bethany called their other friends, Hunter, Emily, and Josie, to come over. And that's when Hunter, who was Ethan's best friend, found the bodies, discovered the bodies. The whole next day, their friends gathered outside of the house the entire day trying to find out what happened, who died, and the police wouldn't tell them anything.
But I'm like, this is my house.
Yep, they wouldn't, like, friends were gathered trying to text people. It got so bad to the point where like family members were driving into town not even knowing if their child was the one that died or not.
So sad.
Maddie's mom was like, let's just go and drive in. We'll take her and Kaylee to lunch because I'm sure they're all shaken up about what's going on. And because they just, police would not give any information at all, which of course there's always that, like, you don't want to jeopardize a case or anything, but it's also like not fair to not
I'm gonna cry at
say
some point.
who the victims were.
I'm literally gonna cry at some point. Just warning you all now.
That's fine.
This is so sad. Also, just shout out to Xana, DoorDash, and TikTok. You're my girl forever.
Yeah.
Love you,
flame.
Diva. That's me for real. Love you, girl.
Okay, so the crime shocked the nation. The murders were so gruesome that there was actually blood dripping outside of the house. I'll show you a picture, which is crazy, the amount of blood that would need to be there.
Oh my God.
That's so bad. Then there was also 2 handprints that were found on the window. So I'll show you that as well. And I'm not really positive what to make of it, but
all I know is I could never be a fucking cop because I'm sitting here like almost crying approximately 6 minutes into the story.
No, I know. I could never. Yeah, look at these 2 handprints that are on
outside of the window.
Wait, I was thinking it was inside.
It's outside of the house.
Yeah, but how can you tell?
Because that is the house.
Yes, but they could have been on the inside.
I guess it could go either way, but it makes much more sense for him. But
that's why I thought somebody was like grabbing onto the window, like I don't know, trying to. It would have looked different, right? Yeah. There's 2 handprints. I'll post them on Instagram, but it's like 2 handprints right on the crest, neatly.
Goodness gracious!
So of course, the social media sleuths pick up on this case and it goes crazy. They're out here doxing other students, their friends, like the victim's friends are getting death threats. People were saying that this was like a major party house. There was an open door policy. It was a drug house. People were selling drugs. Like they were making it seem like, you know, whatever, like the media does, like, oh, well, you know, they weren't careful or they weren't welcoming this kind of stuff, you know?
Victim blaming, sensationalizing, all the disgusting stuff we do as a society.
Always. So shortly after this story gets out and the police are trying to do their due diligence, they find some security footage, camera footage from this very famous local food truck. And Kaylee and Madison were outside. They got the drunchies and they were ordering some food.
Period.
And there was a hooded man. He was their age, though, like probably a college student, who kept looking at Kaylee and Madison. And then he followed them as they walked away.
Creepy.
So this started circulating all over the internet. And of course, everyone assumed that was the man. So he had to lawyer up. So the sleuths online also found pictures of Ethan's best friend, Hunter, the one that found them, wearing zip ties around his wrist. So for a long time on the internet, he was called a wrist tie guy. But turns out it was just a drinking game that was called Champagne and Shackles, where you zip tie to each other, and whoever finishes the champagne, like until you finish your champagne, you know? But, you know, the sleuths are just digging into every little thing and like making life worse for these poor students
and I feel
who
like had
to find their fucking friends.
Right. And I feel like people are like there's certainly like unhealthy elements of social media where like what happens so often is that people will start to really get quite fictional about like real life because they want it to go a certain way and want it to feel like a movie. But I'm like, this is an active crime case. Have a little bit of fucking respect for the fact that you are in Michigan, babe. Maybe you don't know what the fuck is going on. Maybe like you are not gonna like the internet honestly sometimes gives itself a little bit too much credit because I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Shut up. This is an unrelated person who's outside stop. It's like it's so disrespectful and unhelpful.
They're, they're just like us. They want to be witnesses in the courtroom.
I want to know the facts. I am not a speculator at all.
No. I would never dox anyone or blame anyone or anything. Like I think they just want to be able to solve it before the police do, like for whatever reason, which is so weird.
And like self-aggrandizing and like really like.
Oh yeah, it's for their own gain. 100%. It's for views. It's for, here I am doing it too, but.
I don't think you're doing the same thing though, because we're sitting here talking about it from a sympathetic place of like, this is what happened. It's really unfortunate. You're not making anything up. You're not like fucking up an active investigation.
Yeah, that's true.
Like this man has been convicted.
True. Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Horace. Also, Dylan and Bethany were getting completely slandered on the internet too, blaming them that they didn't do anything after she.
I remember seeing this. Yeah.
After she like saw the guy and stuff. And they also were the police were suspecting Kaylee and Maddie's boyfriends, but they had rock solid alibis.
And also there was like a narrative online that the girls, I don't know if you get to this, but there was a narrative that the girls who were alive, people were like, I would never text my friend like that. Like if something was happening, I would go out and those girls are involved. Those girls did something. Those girls.
Because how were they texting them? What do you mean?
There were like theories that the girls were a part of it.
Oh yeah.
Because they were like texting in a way that no one else would text if you thought your friend like, and it's like, you have no idea what the fuck you would do.
Yeah. Well, that's what a lot of people were. I was going to get there at the end, but basically there was people saying like, should they be penalized because they didn't report a crime, because they didn't report it until 8 hours later, till noon. And people were like, they were just on their phones. They were active on TikTok, blah, 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 like all this stuff. And then this one woman who, a psychological expert, says when we are faced with trauma or fear, we all have different response systems. And there's no one right response system. Because there was articles saying like, is Dylan and Bethany's failure to report a crime a federal offense?
And can we also just remember they're 20 years old.
Yeah.
In Idaho.
Excuse me? What are you trying to say there?
That when you grow up in a city or near a major city, you know what to do in more like crisis situations. But when you have lived in a privileged life and a sheltered life and you're that young, you don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
Like I know what to do because I grew up in LA. Like, but a lot of people who are not from a big city don't know how to handle big city shit like murder.
Yeah, true. I don't know where they're from, but they're in school there. They could be from a major city.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Doubt it.
So police were saying that it was a targeted attack, and the community wanted to know, okay, well, who was it targeted against? And they, once again, would not say. And people wanted to know because they wanted to feel more safe. Like, okay, if this was a targeted attack and it wasn't like a serial killer, then we want to know who you think it's a targeted attack against, because otherwise we don't know if they're coming after me. Mm-hmm. And I hope everyone else in that town started locking their doors. Parents also wanted the university to shut down for the semester because they were terrified for their kids' safety, of course.
Yeah, you're not going to shut down an entire school
for this.
For that, unfortunately.
No, I guess you can't.
No, it's like unrelated and it's not on school property.
But maybe they could all switch to online and everyone go home. I don't know. What would you feel?
That it was a tragic situation. I think this is a hot take because I'm not in the situation at all. But from an outsider's perspective with no skin in the game whatsoever, I think it's unfortunate the way that like hysteria can make us like lose perspective of like the greater situation, because it's like, unfortunately, that has nothing to do with the University of Idaho. And it's like,
yeah, because it was also an off-campus.
It's an off-campus thing. So it's like, I get the fear, I get wanting control, I get wanting power, but it's like, you can't tell a fucking private university, to like shut down because of a tragedy that unfortunately wasn't connected to the school. So like, it's scary, but it's.
Is it a private university?
State school, but like a independent. It's not like owned by the government. I don't know. How does this work? It still has like its own board and.
Our state universities are owned by their respective state governments.
I was right.
How are you right?
Because I said it's owned by the government.
I thought you didn't say that.
No, I didn't say that.
You were exactly wrong.
I was right.
And I was right.
Look at that.
Look at that. So they held a vigil and people were, of course, scared to go. Security was very tight, though. One person in the dock said, "We didn't know if he would come." And I thought that was so interesting because they didn't even know who this person was. And of course, she called him a he because not all men, but always a man. I was like, oh, clocked that. She ain't wrong.
Clock it.
She ain't wrong.
Unfortunately.
People there were talking about how they were worried that it was going to become a cold case. Well, then there was a Facebook group for people to share information, and it had 220,000 members.
Golly gee.
Golly gee. People were saying, I bet the killer is somewhere on this page. Well, there was a particular person called Papa Roger who joined the group a couple of weeks in and started gaining attention because of how creepy his posts were. The mods started noticing him in particular because his comments were constantly getting reported by other members. Now remember, 220,000 people in this group, and he was posting that much, that creepily, that he was getting reported that much that they were noticing him. He would ask questions like, did the killer stop at 4 victims out of exhaustion, convenience, or lack of knowledge? Why did the killer choose a knife as the weapon of choice? Did the killer shower at the crime scene afterward? How did the killer hold the knife prior to entering the scene? Which hand? Day 32 and no motive, same as day 1. On November 25th, police asked other law enforcement to be on the lookout for white Elantras because there was...
You wrote this.
Yeah. Because they were caught on camera, on a surveillance camera, driving around the scene of the crime during the murder. And 4 days later, Washington State Police say they found at least one registered to 28-year-old Brian Koberger.
He was only 28.
I literally have right here. First of all, I could not believe he was 28 years old. He was rode hard and put away wet.
Aftercare.
28 years old.
Oh my God, that's what you get for being an ugly fucking weird ass incel murderer, freak, loser, dickhead, jerk.
Clock it.
Also, I have to say this. Stabbing someone is the worst way to kill someone.
It's sick.
I never want to be murdered. I want to die in my sleep peacefully with a perfect brain, perfect body at 117 years old on my birthday.
And you will.
I do not want to be stabbed. Because I think that it is the most personal, mean, gross, close, disgusting way
I know
to kill someone. It's like there's no accident with a stabbing. You have to be right there.
And you have to do it like multiple times unless you just so happen to get the right artery.
You're a sicko. You're a disgusting person for that.
Disgusting.
Oh.
And 4 people back to back.
Oh.
Well, in December, actually, his dad flew out to Washington to road trip home with him for Christmas break. And while Brian was driving, he was pulled over 2 times on the same road for tailgating while in Indiana. But again, nothing was done. Now, I feel like this should be a thing where it's like federally, the whole nation should know about like what cars people are looking at. But I know the list would be like so long, but there's got to be enough technology now where it's like any state can get any information of like, oh,
it's so frustrating because of the like police. I'm pretty sure that it has to do with like police cases not wanting it to go throughout different jurisdictions. And like sometimes there have been police departments that will not help other police departments because they don't want to get involved in a case that they can't either get the credit for, which I kind of, in a fucked up way, do kind of understand because it's like you're allocating a different tax funded like organization.
Yeah.
That for, it's like if police are paid for by California taxes, then asking Nebraska, to do California police work. It's like, well, you're asking Nebraska to pay for California. But I'm like, we're all in the same country.
I know that exactly. It's like
it's the United States of America. Where is the unity?
United.
Where is the unity? Morons. Also, quick question. Do you get to the I recently heard about the police officer who basically one of the Idaho police officers contacted Google for a retroactive search on
Oh, what people search?
the article.
What article?
Like he was looking for articles. They were like, this type of murderer is going to be searching for articles that are featuring it.
Yeah, yeah.
So we want to look up who was searching it.
But aren't there so many people during that time that was probably doing that?
Well,
what about all the internet sleuths?
It was like specific keywords that the guy was, and it was like he looked it up before the story could have broken. So he.
Oh, you mean
as soon as he did it, he started searching it.
Oh, in the early hours?
early-
Because Dylan and Bethany didn't report it till noon.
So he was like searching to see, is anyone talking about me yet? Is anyone talking about me? Is anyone talking about me? And so because of that, they were like, well, only you could have known that it had happened because it hadn't broken.
An idiot.
And that's because he's a narcissist, because fucking murderers are narcissistic people, which is why I do not throw the word narcissist around, because I'm like, that's a narcissist. You fucking wanting people to celebrate you on your birthday is not a narcissistic act. Googling if people are talking about the fucking 4 young women and men that you murdered in their sleep, that's a narcissist.
Yeah. Well, he's a lot of things.
Like, don't.
And that's probably the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
But because his Elantra wasn't a 2011 and 2013 model, they didn't look into him further.
Ridiculous.
Shortly after that, investigators found on the button of the leather knife sheath that was left at the crime scene, because he left this there, was a single male DNA sample that led to nowhere at first. Using genealogy databases like Ancestry.com, 23andMe, etc., they submitted the DNA there, and they found some cousins, which led them to none other than Brian Kohberger. And from now on, I'm going to be calling him the murderer, because I don't want to say his fucking name.
Fuck him.
That's what he wants. They also had cell phone data placing him near the house at key times, and records showing he had driven by the residence on multiple occasions before the murders. So on December 30th, 2022, just 47 days after the crime, police arrested the murderer at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. He was extradited to Idaho, charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. Gotta add that in there too.
Period.
The case was set to
I wonder what he stole.
I know, that's what I'm wondering, but maybe it's just like breaking and entering.
Ooh, true.
The case was set to be one of the most closely watched trials in the country. Well, the community was actually shocked when they found out who the suspect was, because they couldn't believe it was just a random person. They thought for sure it would be somebody that had some sort of relation to the victims. But they actually celebrated that night. The bars were hopping because they were very happy that he was not from Idaho.
Kind of hate that.
He was an East Coaster, not one of them.
I kind of hate that.
I know.
Being like, oh my God, we can go back to like
partying.
Our like white idyllic, no one who's, you know what I mean? Like Idaho is not a safe space if you're not a white person. So I'm like kind of gross that you were like, let's go back to like weird. I don't love that.
Yeah. And he's not one of us. They were like, we'd be devastated if we found out he was from Idaho.
Way to make it about yourself.
Yeah. Always.
Right?
This whole thing, there's so many of these people who are just making it about themselves.
Well, there's nothing, in a case like this, I just want to say again, like while we're on the topic of like ethical true crime, there's nothing to celebrate ever in a story like this. There's no justice. There's no like, there's nothing like, ooh, we got, lives were taken in a violent, vicious way. There's there's nothing that will ever offset that equilibrium. There's nothing that will ever like be worthy of celebration, because you're celebrating a murderer.
And
not
I'm
being
sure
from where you
the
are.
family like definitely feels better once they know who did it. There's some sort of closure, and there's some sort of like, I don't know if you want to call it revenge or whatever, but it's never going to bring their child back. Right. So it's never going to be like cause for celebration.
And I also think on the like cause for celebration front, like it's kind of giving, can't happen to my kids. Won't happen to us because this isn't a thing that's like around again, so like at least like me and mine are safe. And it's like that's
now that they caught him.
Now that they caught this guy and it's not gonna happen again, I can go back, like my children will be protected. And it's like you're not thinking about the family who lost their kids. It doesn't matter where the fuck this guy is from.
Yeah.
He murdered.
And this isn't a game.
He destroyed families. Like So you only celebrating that your life gets to go back to normal, I think is like really fucked up and like kind of separate from like the reality of the situation.
Agreed. They realized that he was not a career criminal. This was actually his first act, but he studied serial killers and was obsessed. He was a student of criminology. At first, he was at DeSales University, which is in Pennsylvania, and then he was in Washington State University, which is just 15 minutes away from Idaho.
Is that how he ended up there? Because I was so confused.
Yeah. His fellow students claim that he was particularly obsessed with Elliot Rodger, who was an incel that went on a shooting spree in a college town
Santa
that ended
Barbara?
with him, with him killing himself. The police quickly were realizing because it was like, what's the motive here? And they quickly realized that it's an incel thing. And of course, the murderer was starting to be celebrated by the incel community. One person writing, I hope BK is confirmed an incel so normies know we're not playing around.
I also just hate the term incel, involuntary celibate, because I'm like, you are volunteering to be a fucking freak.
Yeah.
You are choosing to be this fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
You're choosing to celebrate a murder. That's a voluntary choice. Don't ever tell me it's involuntary ever the fuck again. Small dick micropenis ass fucking loser bitch. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Incels are like the lowest of the low.
Exterminate.
Please. Oh, and then of course people were like sending him money, celebrating him in jail. Women were writing to him, "You're sick. You're sick."
Literally.
But I was thinking maybe that's why he did it. Like he's finally getting attention. That because he knows that happens.
Because it wasn't getting it with that face. That face wasn't bringing me the attention. Looking like a 45-year-old man who has skin cancer.
Yeah.
At 28 years old.
Hell.
You're Gen Z. Isn't that crazy?
Ew, no, he's not. Is he? No, because he's 31 now.
We're the same age.
Fortunate. Let's see when his birthday is.
December 4th, 1983.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I'm going to guess. Hold on. I'm going to guess that he is a Leo.
Oh, okay.
What are you guessing? No. Either Leo, Scorpio, or Pisces.
Well, they say that there is a sign that most serial killers are. I forget what it is.
I think it's Leo, isn't it?
I'm going to say Sagittarius. Let's see, birthday.
Scorpio.
You're right.
I knew it.
Wait, let's see what sign. I'm pretty sure it's whatever Ted Bundy was. I think it is Sagittarius. Pisces, Cancer, Sagittarius, and Scorpio are the most common signs among serial killers. Stop. Are you going to murder me?
I have a lot of Sag and Scorpio placements too.
Uh-oh.
But my Saturn is in Uranus, so that means I love the world.
Uranus. You're doing it the PC way.
Uranus.
Uranus.
Your Saturn's in my anus.
So one of his Hinge dates came forward and said that he was very creepy towards her and kept tickling her when she would ask him to stop. She hid in her bathroom pretending to throw up so that he would go home. And then afterwards, he texted her and said, "You have good birthing hips." Babe, you are not incel. You are just fucking terrible with women.
Wow.
Maybe work on your skills.
Literally.
So I don't want to give too much of this because I hate when people are like trying to, sympathize with the killer, but just a tiny little bit of backstory. He was bullied a lot as a kid, fat shamed, suffered from depression. Who hasn't? And was diagnosed with a disease called visual snow syndrome in the eyes, which is like it's kind of like a blurry, like, let's see how we
disease for bitches. Is that what it is?
Visual
I don't care. I don't care. You could have fucking no left nut, a fucking nub of a hand. You could be completely disabled, a loser who's been ostracized from society. There's been worse shit that's happened to people every single day, and it does not justify murder.
Exactly.
Freak.
So visual snow is basically, it's like a bunch of dots. It looks like very blurry.
Clearly wasn't that fucking debilitating because you could see enough to murder 4 people in their sleep.
Facts. So once he was arrested, guess whose Facebook profile just disappeared?
No way.
Papa Roger.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that gives me the worst chills.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that.
And the people noticed.
Oh, I hate
once
that.
They saw his mugshot that he looked just like the image of Papa Roger.
Oh, I hate
except
that.
aged up. It was kind of a cartoon and then in a military outfit. And I'll post that as
Oh,
well.
ew.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I thought that was skeptical.
Nope. Completely disappeared. The Facebook.
Ah,
Gone.
it's vile.
They also discovered that at DeSales University, Koberger made a questionnaire for class because, again, he was a criminology student. And the questions on there were very similar to the ones that he was asking on the Facebook page. How did the killer leave the scene? Did he clean up? Things like that. He was also a TA at Washington State University and was fired because of his creepy behavior towards women and being feisty and aggressive towards higher ups. There was also a student that was talking on one of the documentaries, and they said how he was always a very tough TA with his grading. And then between November and December, which was, the killings, he was just giving hundreds out because he wasn't he wasn't focused and wasn't able to do any of the work.
He was planning his murders and then murdering.
I think it was after. And then he ended up getting terminated right before.
Oh, before he did it?
No. He got terminated right before he left to go home for winter break. So maybe that's why his dad came about. I'm also wondering if his dad knew anything. You know how the Laundrie, Brian Laundrie's parents knew about it and were covering it up? I'm curious how much they knew. So he's arrested. The defense keeps trying to buy time and postponing the trial indefinitely, which was really frustrating for the prosecutors and the families. Many people online were defending him and claiming he did not do it. Some were saying it was crazy that someone who studied criminology would leave such a messy crime scene behind. Yeah, it is fucking crazy, but he's an idiot.
Loser. Bad. Dumb.
How could you leave the fucking knife sheath. Oh my God. Knife sheath.
You leave the fucking 19th. You don't come back till August. Johnny's in the 6th grade now. Your son's being raised without knowing who you are.
You are. Now, I'm thinking that maybe the public was a little bit torn on this because the death penalty is involved, which always complicates things for people.
Well, I deserve to die.
And a lot of people are very against it.
Kill him.
Kill him.
Twice.
I don't really know where I fully stand on the matter because I do think that it's so complicated because there's a lot of innocent people on death row. But also, I would want the person who killed my kid to die. And also, I would want to be the one to do it. I think they should be the one allowed to do it.
I want him to be killed and then resuscitated and then killed again.
Yeah. Great.
Over and over and over again.
Over and over and over and over again.
I hate you.
So evidence came out that he had actually been stalking specifically Kaylee and Maddie for months. Kaylee reported that at one point that a strange man was staring at her. She told her friends about that. And then supposedly he also had been to their back door in the past to see if it was unlocked. So he had been planning this, but nobody really knows the true motive. So their friends are still being accused of being behind this. Hunter and Emily, the two that came over after the night that the murder occurred, were thought to be involved because they were supposedly something between Hunter and, oh fuck, I wrote Emily. I think it was Kaylee. But there's DNA on the fucking knife sheath. Hello? How can anyone think that it wasn't him? What would his DNA on a knife sheath be doing at the scene of the crime if it wasn't him? Check it. But in June 2025, a turn of events just weeks before jury selection. But in 2025, just weeks before jury selection, a turn of events, the murderer stunned the public by pleading guilty. In exchange, prosecutors agreed not to seek the death penalty. And on July 23rd, 2025, he was sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, plus 10 years for burglary. Can't forget that.
What'd you get, stupid? Oh
So
my
the victim's
God.
family had mixed feelings. Some were relieved to avoid a drawn-out trial. Others were angry that the plea deal meant that they would never get a full confession or learn every detail, including where the murder weapon was hidden, which it's like, I don't know why people care about that much.
Mhm.
I would need to know why, though. That would
No.
keep me up at night. And he never, ever had to admit why.
I also think it would like kind of affect my relationships with other people if I knew why he did it, because then I'd be like, oh, everyone wants to kill me. Like, not that it's a possibility.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that would freak me out.
Well, that's serial killers, though. A lot of times they don't. They just choose a mark.
Right.
It's so sick. And I mean, you know, he was a criminology student, so he was very interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being a fucking freak.
Yeah. So Ethan's family decided not to go to any of the trials and just try to move forward. The rest of the families made victim impact statements at the hearing. Kaylee's sister, Alivea, was fucking
Iconic.
a rock star
Oh.
because everyone else was like, you know, showing how sad they were, like you normally would. But she hit him where it fucking hurt because she made him feel like a piece, like that he was worthless.
Small.
And she hit his ego. And that's what you have to do with psychopaths, narcissists, sociopaths, whatever he is. Like, you have to hit him there, that he was dumb as fuck. Should we just play it?
Yeah, play it.
Hello, I'd like to start by thanking the court for allowing me the time and opportunity to speak today. My name is Alivea, and I'm the big sister of Kaylee Goncalves, and I was blessed to love Madison Mogan as a sister too. I'm not here today to speak in grief, I'm here to speak in truth. Because the truth is, my sister Kaylee and her best friend Maddie were not yours to take. They were not yours to study, to stalk, or to silence. They were two pieces of a whole, the perfect yin and yang. They are everything that you could never be. Loved, accepted, vibrant, accomplished, brave, and powerful. Because the truth about Kaylee and Maddie is they would have been kind to you. If you had approached them in their everyday lives, they would have given you directions, thanked you for the compliment, or awkwardly giggled to make your own words less uncomfortable for you. In a world that rejected you, they would have shown mercy. Because the truth is, I'm angry. Every day I'm angry. I'm left shouting at the inside of my own head everything I wish I could say to you. The truth about me is when I heard the news, I didn't cry. I listened for them. I promised them I would, that I would fight for them, that I would show up no matter what it cost me. I swore I'd never let them feel alone. Because you see, I've always been their heavyweight. I've always been the one to fight the battles they didn't feel ready to fight themselves. All it ever took was a call, and they knew I would handle it for them, no matter the time, no matter the cost. They could wave their white flag because they knew I would never back down, not for them, and not even death could change that. Somewhere along the line, I started to think about what I would say to them if I was given just one last chance. If I could gather enough heartbreak or love or sacrifice or whatever it took to get just one message across, what would I say? Throughout this entire process, I've written my feelings down at every moment, my wishes, my love, my denial, my anger. And as one final act of love, I'd planned to read these thoughts, even jarring and discombobulating and not even making sense. Because for me, that was true love. As bare and as naked as it could be, not laced in pretty words or dressed for the occasion, but written through bleary eyes at 2 a.m. with clenched fists, angry at this reality. My true final act of love was to continue on without them, for them. That dream to read aloud my love to them, to bring meaning through pain, was the latest blow in realizing you don't deserve it. And Kaylee and Maddie don't need it. Kaylee and Maddie have always known my love, and they would never ask me to prove it by further victimizing myself to a defendant who has shown no guilt, no remorse, no apprehension. They would say to me, "Why would you give the satisfaction of showing vulnerability now? You promised you would never back down." And for that clarity, I'm thankful. I won't stand here and give you what you want. I won't offer you tears. I won't offer you trembling. Disappointments like you thrive on pain, on fear, and on the illusion of power. And I won't feed your beast. Instead, I will call you what you are: sociopath, psychopath, murderer. I will ask the questions that reverberate violently in my own head, so loudly that I can't think straight most any day. Some of these might be familiar, so sit up straight when I talk to you. How was your life right before you murdered my sisters? Did you prepare for the crime before leaving your apartment? Please detail what you were thinking and feeling at this time. Why did you choose my sisters? Before making your move, did you approach my sisters? Detail what you were thinking and feeling. Before leaving their home, is there anything else you did? How does it feel to know the only thing you failed more miserably at than being a murderer is trying to be a rapper? Did you recently start shaving or manually pulling out your eyebrows? Why November 13th? Did you truly think your Amazon purchase was untraceable because you used a gift card? How do you find it enjoyable to stargaze with such a severe case of visual snow? Where is the murder weapon, the clothes you wore that night? What did you bring into the house with you? What was the second weapon you used on Kaylee? What were Kaylee's last words? Please describe in detail the level of anxiety you must have felt when you heard the Bearcat pull up to your family home on December 30th, 2022. Which do you regret more? Returning to the crime scene 5 hours later, or never, ever going back to Moscow, not even once, after stalking them there for months? If you were really smart, do you think you'd be here right now? What's it like needing this much attention just to feel real? You're terrified of being ordinary, aren't you? Do you feel anything at all? Or are you exactly what you always feared? Nothing. If you're so powerful, then why are you still hiding, defendant? You see, I'm here today as me. But who are you? Let's try to take off your mask and see. You didn't create devastation. You revealed it in yourself. And that darkness you carry, that emptiness, you'll sit with it long after this is over. That is your sentence. And it was written on the wall long before you ever pled guilty. You didn't win. You just exposed yourself as the coward you are. You're a delusional, pathetic, hypochondriac loser who thought you were so much smarter than everybody else. Constantly scolding, turning your nose up to grammar mistakes, nitpicking and criticizing others. You wanted so badly to be different, to be special, to be better, to be deep, to be mysterious. You found yourself thinking you were better than everyone else, and you thought you could figure out the human psyche and see through it, all while tweaked out on heroin. Lurking in the shadows made you feel powerful because no one ever paid you any attention in the light. You thought you were exceptional, all because of a grade on a paper. You thought you were elite because your online IQ test from 2010 told you so. All of that effort just to seem important. It's desperate. There is a name for your condition, though. Your inflated ego just didn't allow you to see it. Wannabe. You act like no one could ever understand your mind, but the truth is you're basic. You're a textbook case of insecurity disguised as control. Your patterns are predictable. Your motives are shallow. You are not profound. You're pathetic. You aren't special or deep, not mysterious or exceptional. Don't ever get it twisted again. No one is scared of you today. No one is intimidated by you. No one is impressed by you. No one thinks that you are important. You orchestrated this like you thought you were God. Now look at you, begging a courtroom for scraps. You spent months preparing, and still all it took was my sister in a sheath. You work so hard to seem dangerous, but real control doesn't have to prove itself. The truth is, the scariest part about you is how painfully average you turned out to be. The truth is, you're as dumb as they come. Stupid, clumsy, slow, sloppy, weak, dirty. Let me be very clear. Don't ever try to convince yourself you mattered just because someone finally said your name out loud. I see through you. You want the truth? Here's the one you'll hate the most. If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God, so
Literally,
fucking
like,
good.
and it just, she is so strong because,
Ugh.
like, if I had to, like, go see, like, like, if you got fucking murdered or if, like, one of my sisters got murdered or something, you smile, you sicko.
Me? You care
if
about
I had
me?
to go, like, talk to the man who, like, took away one of the most important people in my life.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know that I wouldn't be able to control myself that much
No.
because I would want to rip his throat out.
Mm-hmm. She didn't quiver.
She didn't
She didn't cry.
cry.
She looked him in the eye. Like she like memorized it. She had it
Literally.
memorized.
And she was like, I know that if because did you watch the interview with her where she was like,
Mm-hmm.
I knew I had to have it memorized because I didn't want to break eye contact with him.
Yeah.
And she was just like stared straight into his soul and like reduced him down to and like took away and extinguished any flame of,
Just calling him a fucking idiot. Like, yeah, you thought you were going to get away with this, but you're dumb. And apparently he was a germaphobe too. So that one line where she calls him dirty. I fucking loved it.
And she was like, if Kaylee was
yeah.
she was like, Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass.
Fucking ass. If you didn't do it in the middle of the night while they were sleeping like a fucking pedophile.
Real.
Because that's the thing too. You didn't even. I think Xana was the only one that fought back because I think she was the one that was awake, and maybe Ethan then woke up too in the midst of it. But I mean, honestly, for Kaylee and Maddie's sake, like I do hope that they weren't awake for it. But then they didn't have a fighting chance because you like, what is that when somebody punches someone from behind?
Sucker
like,
punch?
Yeah, sucker punch. You sucker punch them.
It's so insane that you could find any pride in that. Like that you think it's cool and badass that you like snuck up on young girls while they were sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's cool to you.
Yeah. And you think you're important because somebody finally said your name. Loved that line.
Ugh.
I'm sure I'm butchering it, but honestly, maybe she took a beta blocker or something.
Fully, honestly,
I would have had to.
Run me the script, Diva. Like
Yeah.
I need that. She was such an icon, and I'm so proud of her for being able to like say exactly what needed to be said in that moment. Because like those are the moments that like you rehearse in the shower.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, I'm gonna fucking nail this loser. And then you're like, you're mean. Like that's what how could you? And then
it's like that wouldn't ever have gotten to him.
No,
He would
he
love
gets
that.
off on
he
that.
loves the
Yeah,
groveling.
exactly.
He loves seeing that he hurt people.
And she just like did exactly what needed to be done. And it's just it just continues to show me like women do everything in the world that we need. Because I'm like, she fucking handled that shit.
She handled it.
God.
All right, so in the months that followed, the release of over 200 crime scene photos stirred fresh controversy. Many questioned whether public curiosity justified exposing such raw, painful images. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The house where the murders happened was demolished in late 2023, but the memory of that night still lingers. Books and documentaries have since tried to piece together the story, but For those who lost loved ones, the ending offers no real closure, only the certainty that a bright chapter in their lives was stolen forever in the darkness of a November morning.
My heart goes out to these families. I feel so terrible. There's no healing. There's no like justice.
I just can't even understand like the mind of a murderer like that.
And also like something so immature to like find your pride from that. Freak, loser, you're nothing. And I love that Alivea she is now the most like famous person from the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like everyone's taught, if you know about the story, you know about her. And I'm like, she took the rightful attention.
Oh, you think?
I think
it's always still the murderer.
I don't know how to say his last name properly.
Oh, that's good.
I know how to say hers.
Oh, that's good.
I
That
know
is
how to say
good
her
because I
name.
hate when that happens. It always does though. The victims are always overshadowed. It's always called the blank case.
Mhm.
It's almost never the victims.
No, I think she took his power back.
Okay, hell yeah, girl. Hell yeah.
Shout out to you, Olivia. I'm so sorry.
Fucking love you.
Oh my God.
Well, thank you for coming along with me and humoring me with that one.
I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
So sad.
Get this boy a tissue. Well, so that was just a little true crime. I've just always liked true crime podcasts, so I thought I'll just give it a little whirl, see how it goes. See if you guys like it. I could do this every now and then. If not,
You
I
never
won't
saw
do it
this.
again. Love you guys. And remember, you can't spell drama without D.